Cool. That's it, I think. Thank you. Okay. We're going to talk about YouTube in this session. Again, if you're not ready to do video, please still listen and take notes because this can help inform the kind of content you create going forward. Even if it's not video, it'll help you search and research and make the right content for your audience. And you can use YouTube to do that. That's the brilliant thing. You don't need to actually be making the video yourself. But for those of you who are going to create video, this is where you want to be, right? I don't know why I called it YouTube Saves Lives. That's what came to me when I made the slide. So, you know what? I'm about to touch on some stats, but the thing I love about YouTube is that it's the second largest search engine, which I've written there, but it's owned by Google, and look, there's probably some SEO experts in the room, I don't know, but I find Google's hard to rank for these days, pretty much. Like locally, locally you can still rank, but like for broad stuff, like again, social media marketing and stuff, it's difficult. But I love YouTube because it still has white space. So one of the stats on there is only 9% of small business are on YouTube. That is massive white space for a lot of you to get on there. And if you are, you're doing your video SEO really, really well, it's actually not as difficult as you might feel or think. And I'm going to walk you through that process today. There are tons of creators on YouTube, don't get me wrong, can feel very overwhelming. But a lot of the creators on YouTube are vloggers and people doing kind of creative stuff. And but 9% are only in small business. That's huge white space, and it's not to be ignored. So a few other things about YouTube is that the average viewing time is 40 minutes, which is unfreaking heard of on any other platform. Most people are like 32 seconds. Most people actually probably 3.2 seconds, like if we're honest. But the reason why this has such high retention is because when people go to YouTube, they are going there specifically to look for something. They're not, you think about the user interaction on Facebook, we're just scrolling through because we're addicted. I can't even remember the stat. It's well over 100 times that we open Facebook every day. It's disgusting, but it's the reality. So that's why we want to be there, so it's a good thing. But we're also very unconsciously looking at stuff. We're not there for purpose or reason a lot of the time. Whereas when people open YouTube, you have to type in the URL and you're typically going there to look for how to do something because that's actually the most searched category on YouTube. So 40-minute retention, massive. If you can capture even 5-minute retention on your channel, you're doing well. So millennials prefer YouTube. So those of you who have a millennial audience, and it's something like 79% of millennials prefer YouTube over just about anything else. Like it's, I can't remember the exact stat. And I'm really bad at crediting stats as well, but I just Googled them. So it's not rocket science. And a third of the internet users are on it. So we want to actually be in there and in that space because it's not somewhere where we're just trying to like break into a market or something like that. YouTube is well established. It's in about its 13th year and it's only going to get stronger and more powerful, and that's why Google bought it, right? And I don't know if any of you have taken notice, but if you search on Google, like if I say how to bake a cake, the top searches that come across the top are YouTube videos. So if you can get to the first page on YouTube, you're actually essentially going to put yourself on the first page of Google in many respects. Whereas it's hard to search for the actual key ranking and term on Google, you might be able to do it through video. So let's walk through this. So I would get your pens ready because there will be a lot to write down. So when we go to set up YouTube, there's a whole back end side to it that we just don't have time to do today. You can YouTube that process. In fact, if you're really interested in that process because you've never set up a YouTube channel, who's got a YouTube channel? All right, so a lot of you. Okay. if you don't have a YouTube channel and you want to know how to do that process correctly, or you do have a YouTube channel and you want to make sure it's correct, email me, see me after, whatever. I'll direct you to a video that a good friend of mine made, and he knows everything about everything, and that'll make sure all your back end's correct. So it links you up to Google and all those things, so it talks to your website. The second thing that you want to do that is most important is that you want to brand your channel. And I've written so important next to this because it's so important. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's just get out of this for a hot second and have a look at a couple of people's, where did my thing go? Hang on, just open up a new one or not. So let's go into YouTube. So we'll go to mine for starters. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have your branding on there. Now, again, I'm experimenting all the time. This looked a little bit different probably 2 months ago. It was black and teal and had my little 11 Lights logo a lot smaller, had a picture of me a lot similar to this, like on the side, but it was very clean. It didn't say a lot. It was just a branded channel in that respect. But what you want to do, and what I've attempted to do here, that I want to point out to you, is that when you go to my channel, you know what you're going to get. Because I've written it. I've said I'm into branding, I'm into social media, and I'm into content. And then to make it even more clear, I'm into making boring interesting, right? You're not going to come on my channel, hopefully, you're not going to come on my channel and be bored. If you are, I deserve for you to unsubscribe or never subscribe to me. That's the way I see it. And then I've even written how often I'm going to do videos. Now, don't hold me to that yet because this is all, I'm preparing this all for 2019. So, and then I've got my logo just for branding purposes. But that's what you want to do. You want to set it up. You want to set up your header so that when people come to you, you only have a couple of seconds to make that impression. If they come to your channel itself and not a video, you want to tell them what they're there for and what they're going to get from you. Because not alternatively, but if it's the wrong person, you don't want them subscribing to your channel because it's going to inform you in an incorrect way. So when you come to me, if you don't want any of those things, don't subscribe to me. That's what it's telling you as well. So that's one of the really important things that you need to do. If you don't do it, it's just this big blank screen. So you don't want to be doing that. So I'll show you one of my other clients. I don't know if you know him, but Mossy does. So I'll just give you an example of a different one that we did for Barney Lewis. So we've done a similar thing for him. We've got him on there. He's very well known by his Hilux, so I made sure that was in there. I've got his little logo on there, and I've told people how often we're going to post, and we're pretty good at holding to that. And then you also get these little fun things that you get to add in too. That's all in the back end. And YouTube does that for you, so you don't have to worry about making like a little graphic or anything. And I'll show you one more. I might actually show you someone I'm subscribed to, just to drive the point home. What am I doing? So, I'm subscribed to a lot of strange people. Who's going to be good at showing you? This guy. So Roberto Blake, lovely dude, knows a lot about creativity and creating stuff. So I'm just going to go to his thing. So, like, how awesome is this? He's a graphic designer, so you wouldn't expect anything less. But he's actually got a few extra links there to some other stuff, like that's his program and stuff. But this is what you're going to get. He's motivating and educating creatives. So he's all about people who are trying to make money from being creative, and he's there for you. And he's got a number of different playlists. He's really awesome. He's got a little call to action there. You've seen his face, and that's something that I want to draw on from all three of those people, me, Barney, and Roberto, is that our face is in all of them. And granted, we're personally branded to a certain extent, but I would encourage you, if you've got it was property development management. something like that, because that's probably more of a professional corporate space. If you've got anything like that, I still encourage somewhere, even if it's just like a little, like your face in a little circle or something, just to give people a sense that there is a human at the other end. They don't want to be sent branded corporate stuff. They want to connect with a human. And they'll be able to see that through your videos as well, but it's just a starting point and it's important for setup. It's not to be ignored. So getting back to the slides, I want you to start thinking about playlists too. And the way I like to think about that is, it's probably just easiest if I use my business as an example. One of the things that tells YouTube that we need to rank higher is watch time on our playlists. So what I mean by that is for me, I would have a playlist on social media, then I'd have a playlist on content marketing, then I have a playlist on video marketing, and I also would have a playlist on strategy. That's probably a few too many to start with, but it doesn't really matter. All that matters is I know for myself there's generally 4 weeks in a month, and if I'm going to create a video every month, I want to do one on strategy, one on video, one on social, and one on content, at least to start with. And then once I start to see trends, once I start to see traction, I want to start building out those playlists even more, so that when someone goes to the content creation playlist, they have somewhere to go next. And when we tag our own playlist, when we're setting up the video, when we're tagging our own playlist, thank you, it's actually sending a signal back to YouTube to say, you need to, because they give you suggested videos at the end of your video, it's telling YouTube to pull one of those up, to pull one of yours up. Otherwise, someone might finish my video and Gary Vaynerchuk pops up, and I don't want them to go there because he's got 1 billion more videos on the same topic. I want them to stay on my channel, right? So playlists are important to start thinking about, but they're important because they also help us understand what content we're going to create. Okay, so the next thing is research, and this is a really fun one. I'm going to get you guys to at least write it down, or if you've got your computers there, I want you to download the very first tool up the top, which is called Keywords Everywhere. It's free. And that thing is going to change your life. So Keywords Everywhere tells you the search volume of keywords pretty much on every platform. So I can start typing things into YouTube and it tells me that 50 people a month are searching for it. I can type it into Google, same thing. There's a whole bunch of places where you can type it and the same thing happens. But I typically just use YouTube and Google. So I'll just quickly go back to YouTube and show you what I mean. So it doesn't really matter what I'm typing. See what's coming up there? 124,000 a month for how to make slime. You can read, I don't need to read it for you, but you can see that how to make fluffy slime, 60 a month. So I'm actually seeing that 60 people a month, roughly, are searching for that topic. And you need to remember that because we're going to get really specific later on when we start to look for things that we want to go after and we want to rank for on the first page. This is really important and it makes a massive difference. So I can't stress enough, just get that tool anyway. It's just going to help you. It's a helpful tool. It's a Chrome extension. I don't know if it's an extension anywhere else, but I know it's a Chrome extension because that's what I use. And it will just automatically populate this kind of thing happening. Cool. So I'm going to go back to this. And everything I've written here is to help you research. So this is why I want you to write these down. Because again, it doesn't matter how you make the content. The important part is the research aspect of it. So the next thing is Google Trends. And we want to look at that because that can often tell us, obviously, what's trending here and now. But you can search things that are in your niche, in your space. So like for the no smoking space, for example, you might type in something like, like a gateway implement to like not smoking might be vaping or something. I'm making it up. I don't know your industry very well. So you might actually you might type in smoking or vaping, and you might see that that trend is actually on the rise. So maybe it makes sense for you to make content around vaping as that gateway to like not smoking at all, right? Because people are searching it worldwide. That's why it's a Google trend. And then that can help you go back to YouTube and type in vaping, and you start to think of your own ways of typing things in, and it actually tells you what people are searching for in YouTube really, really specifically. So that's just an example of how to use Google Trends. Does anybody not know what Answer the Public is? Put your hand up, don't feel shy. Okay, most of you, so I'll show you. That's why I asked. So Answer the Public is a fun little website where you can go in and you type your keyword and it generates all the responses about around that keyword, which can be super helpful when you go to create content. So someone else who I haven't spoken to yet, give me your industry and maybe like a keyword. So who wants to go? Yes. Didgeridoos. All right. Is this how I spell it? Whoa. I was a champion speller at school, just so you know. Okay. This will be interesting because it's quite niche. 65 questions. So you can print this off. And you can download it in a PDF. You can print it off. Now, some of this is not going to be anything. Some of it's going to be trash, right? But so didgeridoo, this is like the term we search. Now we might do how questions. How to make didgeridoo sounds. How to didgeridoo beatbox. That's cool. How to mic a didgeridoo. How to spell didgeridoo. How does a didgeridoo make sound? How are they made? How old are didgeridoo? Like, this is gold for you. Holy cow. And then what you can do, so once you printed this off, or I know it's a circle, it's a bit annoying. It is a nice way to see that there's a lot of content around it though, right? And then you can go back into YouTube, and let's just go to how to make didgeridoo sounds, or actually let's go to how to mic a didgeridoo, because I think that's interesting. How to mic didgeridoo. Actually, I didn't do that well. Sorry, I was not meant to press enter. The only thing with this is if your keywords get too long, it doesn't show up the thing anymore, which is a little bit annoying. It's not going to do it for me. Okay, let me just have a look. So, so you'll see up here volume 0, cost per click 0, competition 0. That just tells me there's not enough data around it. Either that, all of the thing is glitching. But you'll see over here, I have another little tool which I'm going to tell you guys to get later as well, and you can get this for free. It has a paid element as well, but you can definitely start with it for free. So this is actually telling us that the keyword isn't too competitive and it has enough search volume to make it worth targeting. So this is just an overview. We are going to go into this in more depth, but because we looked at Answer the Public and then we chucked it into YouTube, we can see that no one there has actually written. I thought someone was like, I have a question. Why aren't you answering me? So no one has made how to mic a didgeridoo, but it's something that people are searching, right? So and TubeBuddy is telling us that it's good too. So I just wanted to show you that as an example of how we can get content. So Answer the Public is freaking awesome. I love it. And I'm going to stop making this big now because it's just annoying me. So another one is BuzzSumo. I'll let you explore that yourself because I actually like some of these other ones better anyway. Another one is frequently asked questions. So if you have frequently asked questions on your website, or there are frequently asked questions on your competitors' websites, go and steal them and make videos out of it. Steal's not a good word, but use them to create content for yourself, right? Especially if you're really just struggling to come up with anything. Go to your competitor and see what questions they're already answering in an FAQ written form. Then you can just go and make them. On that, just so I don't forget to show you, when we go to YouTube, we can actually, again, go to our competitors. We can go to our competitors here. Let's just pretend this dude's a competitor because I don't know. But I want to go to his channel. It says didgeridoo in the title, so, I mean, that's a good start. Then we click on his videos. You might want to write this process down. This is like a little hack. So you go to the account of your competitor or someone doing what you're doing in that space. You click on their videos, and then you go to this one and you sort by most popular. And that, now this guy has stuff going back 10 years. So I would be really, you've got to use a little bit of critical thinking here. He's got 64,000 views from 10 years ago. He's got 39,000 views from something he posted a year ago. So I would be more inclined to maybe like look at that as something that 3 exercises you should do every day. Like that makes sense. And start looking at your competitors' top-rated videos, because that's going to inform you of what you can basically just do that same video but better. How do you maybe you can do 4 exercises you can do every day. Maybe you have exercises that you can do every day that doesn't actually involve didgeridoo at all. Exercise you can do while you're sitting on the toilet, because like people are looking for ways to hack time, right? So that's a really good way of looking for content for yourself. Look at people who are already doing it and see where their popular content is, and don't copy it. Go and make your version and make it damn better. Like, give YouTube a reason to put you on that front page. Don't try and get to the front page and then like regret it because your content is crap. So remember, quality is just always a standard that we want. So we've got that one. So yeah, frequently asked questions. So you can find that on websites. You can find that on forums. You can find that on YouTube. You can find it on Google. If you type in legal FAQs, sports stadium FAQs, I don't know what people do. Marketing FAQs, things like that. And then there's also Google Keyword Planner. I was going to go through Google Keyword Planner, but I just think we're going to run out of time. So you can use all these things. So what you're looking for when you're in Google Keyword Planner is higher volume, low competition. But again, I'm going to do this in YouTube for you because there are a few rules that we need to play by. Does anybody here have more than 500 subs on the YouTube channel? So a subscriber, sorry. So everyone has under 500 on their channel? Yes? Can we nod? Cool. All right. Well, that puts us all in the same playing field, which means you're going to want to hear what I have to say. So we could probably... Okay. All right. I need to flick between screens. So you're just going to have to deal with the side issue. So let's pretend we've created a video and we're ready to put it on YouTube and we want to rank #1. Like, that's really the goal, right? One of the things that we have to do before we even get there is we have to start thinking about the video optimization, which actually goes back to the export process in the video. So if you get someone that you've outsourced to do this, you need to give them this information. This is why it's important for you to know, because they might not know this from a marketing standpoint. So you need to be able to tell them when they render out the video, you want it to say the top 10 marketing FAQs, the top 10 marketing questions, the top 3 exercises for didgeridoo. You want it to say exactly what your title is going to be in YouTube, because YouTube reads what we call the metadata, which is all that back end. It's what we title everything. It's all the stuff that like no one actually sees and no one actually cares about except us, except the people that are optimizing these things. So we need to think about the title. It needs to be the same as the metadata. It needs to appear in the description. I'm going to show you an example too, so stick with me. The title needs to appear in the description exactly the same. It also needs to appear in the tags exactly the same. Okay? Then we want to put our video into a playlist, an appropriate playlist, and it can go in multiple playlists, by the way. It doesn't have to sit in just one. If you've got a broader arm, so for example, Barney's, he's got full driving tips, and I'm going to make another playlist that's just all about beach full driving. So at the moment, we've got a whole bunch of beach ones we've done in full driving tips, but I'm also going to put them in the beach ones as well because that makes sense. And then I'll touch on comments, cards, and end screen on the actual thing. I know this is a lot of information, but it will, if you do this, it will serve you very, very well. So I'll just use one of mine as an example. So I'm going to sort mine by the last one I put up because that's the one that will have been optimized the best. So this is obviously the last one I put out, how to be confident on camera, 7 lessons from shooting 150 videos in 6 months. So when we go into this, what you're going to see is my title here. My video metadata was also exactly the same. And then what you're going to see is my title here. Again, exactly the same. And then, where is it? It's one of these. Oh, maybe I didn't put it in. Oh, bad girl. It should be in here. No, it's not. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. I actually took out the second part B of it. I took out the 7 lessons. I broke it up because really that probably doesn't matter anyway. So I put out how to be confident on camera in here as well, right? So that sends a signal to YouTube very strongly that I know what I'm talking about and that I have called it the same thing in multiple places. That is what this video is about. But similar to Google, if you made a video like this and someone clicked onto it, a piece of content like this and someone clicked onto your website and it was not what they were looking for because you'd falsely advertised and they clicked off, the same thing happens on YouTube. If someone clicks on that and I don't give them what I've promised and they click off, I get somewhat of a bounce rate as well. And that tells YouTube that I'm actually not an authority because I didn't give what I promised because someone clicked it and then clicked straight off. Okay, so now that we've got all of our title in the same places, we also need up to 300 word description, or around 300 words. This isn't 300 words. But what we want to do is put like a mini blog post in our description, because what that's going to do is touch on other keywords in our space and send a signal back to YouTube as well that we're talking about this particular subject. And also, if people are searching slightly differently and we're picking up those words that they're using, that only serves us well in this process. So we've got all that happening, and now I want to talk to you about tags. So this is where research really happens. I've got my tags that I put in every video because I always want to be showing up when someone types in 11 Lights Media, right? That makes sense. I want to be going after social media marketing, content marketing. They're very, very broad, and I probably very rarely rank for them because there's a lot of other people with higher authority on YouTube going for those, but they're still my space. It still makes sense. And if I continue to grow and I continue to gain authority, one day those tags might actually make a difference to me. But then we start getting into long tail keywords, and that's really what we want because we're small businesses and we want to go after the long tail stuff. So You can see here I've slightly tweaked the title. And I got a lot of these titles because I use TubeBuddy. So it actually makes suggestions to me from other people's videos and things that they've been using and the things that are ranking. So I'm not just pulling stuff out of thin air. So I recommend that you get TubeBuddy, because one of the powerful things in it is that I can go to someone else who's done something about being confident on camera, and I can, if I think that their keywords are valuable to me, I can just copy and paste them all, which is so much easier than sitting there trying to figure it out and type it all out. So TubeBuddy is TUBE Buddy, BUWY, sorry. Yeah, like YouTube. And there's a free version and then there's paid. I pay for mine, but everything like searching tags and being able to use it for research, you can use that on the free version. It might limit you a little bit, but I think to pay for it's only like $9 a month anyway. I feel like if you're going to get serious about video on YouTube, it's really helpful to have tools. So that's what you want to do. You want to make sure every single time you upload a video, you've got your metadata down pat, you've got your title down pat, you've got your body down pat, you've got your tags down pat. Like all of these things are really important. And it's so good with TubeBuddy, they give you a little best practice list. So we're going to talk about thumbnail in a minute. And all these things are shared because like I do all that anyway. The only thing I don't have is an info card. But what we want to do once we've posted it is go straight to the comments, and we want to be the first person that posts on our own thing. Like your own video and post the first comment and ask for engagement with it. So ask people to share their experience or say something underneath that relates to the video. Because what that does is the more people, it's similar to Facebook, you know, the more engagement you get, the further it goes. And it's the same with YouTube. So if people are commenting on it, it's sending that signal back to YouTube to say, hey, this is really relevant. It's getting comments because it's valuable information. Similarly, it sends the same signal when people dislike it and say bad things. So it's quite an interesting conundrum. But it's important to ask for that engagement. And you like your own and you heart your own. You do it. You just do it. That's what you do on YouTube. And then you pin it. You pin it to the top so everyone sees it and everyone can engage if they want to. And you see on this, like, I mean, I literally have 100 followers. Like I have next to nothing on my personal YouTube channel. But you can see people have, oh, look, Peter Moss. Look at you. Engagement beast.